lot of Thailand variants out there that are great improvements on the original diecast. Sometimes they go back and fix things that were wrong on previous incarnations or make other updates and changes. Like, for example, finally giving Cruising McQueen his bumper stickers in 2020, or making their variant of Otis, first released in 2022, have matte paint. Other times, Thailand simply has diecasts that fans kind of prefer over the original. And when I see a Thailand variant that I think just looks better than the original, I tend to pick it up and add it to my collection. One of the ones I always think of is the King. While the original King diecast is great, I really love that Thailand variant of him, and he's been my go-to King ever since I picked him up. I have several cars like that in my collection: Tex Dynaco, Raul Cerul, and a couple others. Very, very rarely will you see me buy a Thailand variant because I think it looks worse. But back when Lee Revkins got his Thailand variant at the start of the Thailand period of Cars diecast, kind of in the early days, he was so rough looking that I just had to pick him up because he was so different. And now to this day, I still have two Lee Revkins, the original and this one that's just... it's just such the wrong color. Anyway, guys, welcome back to another review and to another birthday request here on the channel. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Lee Revkins, a birthday request from NS Clars. Thank you so much for the birthday request, and I hope you've had a great birthday. Now, I'm going to be taking a look at the original Lee Revkins diecast here. I just wanted to open by talking about the insanely strange-looking Thailand variant of him, just because it's so fascinating to me how weird and off this shade of purple on him is. Every once in a while, we'll get a Thailand variant that just completely gets the color wrong, right? We saw it with Holly Schiffwell, we saw it with Mel Dorado, and Lee Revkins was really kind of our first example of that. Luckily, Thailand re-releases have more hits than misses, and I could probably count on my hands how many Thailand cars there are out there that I think significantly look much worse than in the original, but Lee is definitely one of those. Usually, I don't mind all that much if a character's color isn't 100% accurate to the movie, especially if it's a background character like a Piston Cup racer. I know there are a lot of people that kind of get up in arms about that, but for me, if they're a super like background character, I'm not going to be all that bothered. Kevin Racing Tire, for example, never really bothered me all that much with the color being off. Of course, I'd prefer it to be accurate, but if it's a bit off, I don't mind all that much. Lee Revkins, though, is just so noticeably wrong. It doesn't help that Lee has a pretty notable role in the movie. Chick Hicks famously crashes into him, but this diecast has such an off color scheme. I remember back in the day when he first came out, hearing somebody say that he looked like a McDonald's toy, and man, that was so right. Something about the purple paint here on this Lee looks strangely cheap. So you know what? We're just gonna get this guy out of here. If this were to come out nowadays, I don't think I would pick it up, honestly, just because I don't really have a need to have two Lee Revkins. I could have just left this on store shelves as it was. But at the time, I was like, oh, technically it's a variant because he's a completely different color. So that's why I picked him up. Anyway, we're going to push that guy aside, and we're going to talk about the regular Lee Revkins, who could probably pass as a completely different character. That's the thing. This looks cheap, but it also just doesn't look like the same guy, right? Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm done with the other Lee Revkins. I got this guy back in 2018 when he was re-released after Cars 3 came out. One of the first of the Cars 1 Piston Cup racers to be re-released post Cars 3, and now we have gotten all of them as of this year, other than the ones that we can't legally get again, of course. Because of that, Lee Revkins has always held a special place in my heart. He was there when I started really hardcore collecting Cars 1 Piston Cup cars, which I hadn't really been buying before they started coming back in 2018. He's got a pretty fun design, of course, sponsored by Transberry Juice, a juice brand. We have the little gas pump, or not gas pump, kind of gas can, oil can there on the hood with this whole bubble design going on behind him. Funny thing is, about a month ago, for my friend Cars Ignite 95's birthday, I did a birthday request review of Marcus Kranksler, the Cars 3 Transberry Juice veteran. And honestly, so many of the Cars 3 veterans have such great visual graphic design upgrades over the originals. So many of the Cars 1 Piston Cup racers, in my opinion, are pretty graphically dated. A lot of them look very 2006 compared to the far more modern styling of Cars 3, which now, even almost 10 years later, still holds up because it's just kind of where graphic design is now that computer graphic design is, you know, everybody knows how to do it. It's much more, there's a much more kind of well-known general style of how to do it. You know, a lot of these Cars 1 piston cup racers kind of have graphically dated designs. And while I would say that Lee Revkins does have kind of a dated design, it's not really a bad thing. We have all of these circles here, these little bubbles, all in yellow. There are so many of them. They're quite small and pretty cramped up in a lot of places. There are just an absolute ton of them. Does the Thailand version have less? I think maybe it might. If this were done nowadays, I don't think you would see all of these bubbles, and the bubbles you did see would definitely have shadows on them. That's something that's missing from a lot of these Cars 1 racer designs that I think is making them kind of look a little bit dated graphically, which I think it's that lack of a shadow. You really have no drop shadows or anything on any of the Cars 1 piston cup racers, and it's not a bad thing. Me saying they're graphically dated isn't me saying they're bad, because I absolutely love the Cars 1 piston cup racers. We all do. It's kind of fun to see, looking back now, that graphic design has moved quite a bit beyond these guys. It's pretty interesting. Got all the secondary sponsors you'd expect to see: the Piston Cup Nitrate, Revolting, Mood Springs, Octane Gain, Vitaline, No Stall, Gaskets, Gasprin, Easy Idle, RPM, Little Turkey Pistons, Leakless, Retread, and Clutch Aid. So many bubbles, just so many bubbles. I really like that Lee's wheels are just black. Looks very classic, kind of NASCAR racer to me. We have this interesting sort of flowing design that carries over all across them. I always love it when racers have designs that carry over across several parts of the design there. Transberry juice with the gas cap there. There's a look at the back, which looks really, really cool. Really love how this looks. Honestly, a lot of the Piston Cup racers' backs are kind of underrated. A lot of them have really good design work that's very distinct. This is pretty distinct from the rest of Lee, and it definitely makes them stand out in something like a race, which is good, because watching a race, you're going to see the backs of the cars a lot. There's a look at the other side, and there is a look at the base, and that concludes my review of Lee Revkins, or as I like to call it, Ty talks about Lee Revkins and also how weird the Thailand variant is, and also how weird graphic design history is. Thank you all so much for watching. Tune in next time when we review Glow Racers Jackson Storm. Thank you so much to Ennis Close for the birthday request. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you guys next time. Bye now. I really spent so much time talking about graphic design. I don't really care that much. I took a few graphic design classes in school, and I was bored to death. This video makes it seem like graphic design is my passion. It's not. Have you seen my thumbnails?